And don't worry. I like people that are so punctual like that when they're not punctual. Okay, ready? One, two, three. 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 One, two, and stop. To the side. One, two, three. 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 One, two, and stop. Okay, hands up. Ready? Stretch. One, two, three. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in waist. Circular movements. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. One, two. Reverse. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. One, two. Center cross. Knees. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. One, and reverse. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. One, two. Center. Hands on your waist. Circular movements. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. One, two. Reverse. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 1, 2. Center cross. We did that already. Neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center, rotating down. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center, hands up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Spread your feet. Spread your turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Okay, center. Shake it out. Deep breathing. Okay, hands in waist, shoulder roll. Reverse. And sana. Okay, press. Release. Exhale. Inhale. Breathe through your nose. And stop. Hands up. Pull in. Inhale. Up on your toes. And down. Up on your toes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. And sana. Palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Okay, we should go from side to side. Ready, lift. Okay, let's switch to hands. Now we're going to go up and down. So this is insert needle. Okay, switch. Here, lift. So you lift up. This goes in, down, up, down, up, and down. Okay, shake it out. Okay, leg swing. Turn the shoulders. Switch. And center. Side to side. And center. Switch. And center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk grilling. Switch. Okay, open and close. Switch. Okay, Sana. Okay, circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbows down. Okay, lower. Extend. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, sun up. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Infinity sign. Okay, form the fists. Okay, palms together. Strum the lute. Okay, turn, draw the bow. Okay, fan through the back. Okay, raise the hand. palms down. Breathing, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, go through the sequence. Okay, short form. Ready? Feet parallel. Preparation. Deep breathing. Okay, so actually last Saturday we had a class. We actually spent a lot of time. We went through the Tai Chi Paradigm form, and then we did the long form right after. And then we spent 25 minutes on Grasp the Sparrow's Tail, just talking about the dimensional changes, the geometry of positions, and how to maneuver through each of the postures. Especially in Grasp the Sparrow's Tail we have those four energies: ward off, roll back, press, and push. So sometimes I use this term compatible with direction, and how do you integrate that so that the right and left sides has a relationship and the upper and lower has a relationship. So that's really a stage beyond sequence, because you have to memorize a sequence uh, well enough to sort of not think through the sequence, because that's where all your energy and the mind is going, is to try to recall that. You have to get to a stage where you don't have to think too much about the sequence and allow the mind to open up to take in additional information. So really, why Tai Chi doesn't get, you know, um, all the I guess the understanding of the benefits is because it does take time, and a lot of new practitioners think that as soon as you learn the sequence, you're going to get the 100% benefit. But the sequence is just sort of getting through the door. Then you have to kind of go through the form, um, sort of identify the postures even on a deeper level than just knowing the name and the movement, because each posture is essentially a mini sequence. So you have to take those mini sequences and go through the sort of analysis of what the posture is. That ties into some functionality, so that kind of helps understand why structure, position, and all of that starts to become more important. But then, the importance of functionality comes into not just on a martial level, but functionality. How do we move our body, especially um, as we age, more efficiently and moving it more correctly. So what's moving correctly is how do we maneuver and manipulate our skeleton? How does the joints work, relative to the rest of our body? How does our joints move relative to what you're doing and within the space that you're working within? So those things become part of what the Tai Chi paradigm talks about, is proprioception, spatial awareness, mind-body connection, assimilation. So learning becomes not just sort of um, a mindless thing by watching and doing. It becomes much more um, relevant to how you, through referencing the assimilation of what you think you see, using the mind and interpreting that as a part of the perception. And then as we build our movements, we build a sensitivity, which becomes a feeling. And the feeling is does this feel right? Does it feel correct? And the correctness of it starts to feel different as your body starts to adapt. Because when I say, feel the correctness, what are you referencing? You have no reference, because we don't know what correctness is, right? Because that constantly will change. So that's something that brings into the idea of why when you first introduced to Tai Chi, it's a set of movements, and we see that it's graceful and sort of aesthetically pleasing if you like that type of movement. But then the depth of information that you need to take those movements to another level, that's something that certain people stay with it, some people don't. But to get to that level, the tremendous benefit is building brain plasticity, motor skill, integration of body, all related to why, as we age, we lose balance, we lose coordination, and so forth, because there's no other way of developing coordination and balance and so forth unless you do it. Our body, our, it learns through muscle memory and repetition. That's the only way it does it. In fact, we learn everything like that. The more you do something over and over again, the better you get at it. You recite a poem the first time, sounds good, try to do it again. You can't. You have to do it. You have to see it, read it, memorize it, recite it, go through it over and over again, and then it gets programmed here. We're doing that essentially with the sequence. We're memorizing it, we're going through it, we're seeing it, we're doing it, and then eventually it sinks in and you have it formatted in here just like you memorize the poem. But there's one step that has to happen beyond that. The step beyond that is what takes that information that you just took in, converts it into a motor skill that's sent through the body to your musculature to manipulate your skeleton to create what all the images that you have been seeing creates. So it's sort of recreating what you see by your body form. So that's why when we go through the form, everyone looks a little different, because the interpretation of the movements up here varies among individuals based on experience, mainly experience and time, right? So without information, experience, and time, you really can't go anywhere. It gets stagnant. It stays where it is, a sequence. But you didn't need that memory to do the form. That's the same memory as doing the poem. It's just cognitive. When you transfer it into the body, that's the big difference, because a motor skill becomes something else. So I call it the physical side of learning, because what you build on that level is tremendous, and the feedback and the apparatus that does that is still churning, right? So that's where your brain really gets a lot of exercise, if you want to call it exercise. So it's different from doing a crossword puzzle or doing something that's pure memory. So that's why you could be very smart and extremely uncoordinated. So that's really the difference. So let's go through the long form. So that's just for us, and actually anyone watching the video might begin to understand why Tai Chi you have to do it over and over again. Okay, ready? Okay, deep breathing. So, for anyone just watching and following, you would see that that's a fairly long sequence, takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do, probably averaging around 16, 17 minutes. So that's sort of the speed, but it's just more of the same. Postures linked together, going from one position to the next. And, so, how do you memorize something like that? Actually, it's just going through it and your body picks up a sequence. Now, you have to have the discipline, you have to have the frequency of doing it and seeing it. So, there was a book decades and decades ago that was written by a teacher named Chen Man-ching, famous Yang stylist. And his book was called There Are No Secrets. So would people think, back in the day, they would always think there were secrets to becoming better. But, I would say, if I were to write that book, I would say there are no shortcuts. You just have to go through the process. Now, is there a better way of learning? It's really deciphering the information that you're fed. So you could read all you want about the theories, but how do you interpret it? So when you're interpreting the information correctly because of your level of understanding, and understanding and interpretation kind of go hand in hand. You can't interpret something on a deep level with a simple idea of, or a simpler understanding. So how do you develop the deeper understanding? It's really the relationship you have between your movement and your understanding. It's not so much just understanding and it happens. Your movements actually explain to your mind what's been happening and how you're evolving. So if you go through that process, then the understanding or the information you're storing here on that sort of not the philosophical, but the principles, then you'll begin to recognize what those mean. Like sink the elbow, relax the shoulder, moving right to move left, moving left to move right, going forward and back. So essentially, right, left, forward, and back, and central equilibrium are the 5 things that they usually talk about. The Chinese have these little poems. They're called 5-character poems or 4-character poems or 6-character, and they're kind of written in that format. And you use that as a guideline to your teaching. So forward, backward, right, left, center would be 5 words. You take those 5 words and you have to go through your practice from the day you start to now, but those 5 words wouldn't have any meaning to you day 1. Forward, right, left, center. What's the importance of that? But as you start to evolve, you begin to recognize this forward, right, left, and center. Because when we go forward, we project forward. When we sit back, that's forward and back. So that's called Dian Gong, forward and back. 左右 is right and left. So with right and left, it's turning to your right and left. And then center is balance, central equilibrium. So those are the 5 important points that you have to work on when you're practicing. Now, if you take those 5 ideas and incorporate into everything that you do, then you begin to recognize that there's those components or those principles in every single posture. And that's why on Saturday when we worked on Grasp the Sparrow's Tail, and I was saying that in 2021, maybe we should just work on individual postures till we begin to develop a deeper understanding for each one. Because once you finish the form, usually it's, what else do I do? So Grasp the Sparrow's Tail, obviously preparation is the first movement. Now, even in preparation, you don't have so much of the right and left until you shift and you step up. So there has right and left, central equilibrium, forward and back. Now, right and left doesn't just mean the hands going right and left. the body is turning to the right as we shift to the left. We drop our elbow, stroke down. So if you really think about this, the hand moved from the left side to the right side. When we shift to the left, we move right. We step forward, and here's grasp the sparrow's tail. So, as I was saying, forward, right, left, center is in everything. We had to shift the weight, and that becomes another principle. It's called substantial and insubstantial. Substantial and insubstantial is which side has the dominant or the predominance of the weight, and which side becomes the dominant leg. So the heavy leg or the solid leg would be this one. The light one is the one you move. So that's the unweighted leg. That happens as another principle in addition to the right, left, center, forward, and back. So that takes us to here. And once we're in grasp the sparrow's tail, now the way I use the mirrors is just because wherever you face is your front. So because grasp the sparrow's here, you can't see my hands, and I can't see everyone else's hands. But when we have a mirror in front of us like this, and we go like this, and we go forward, and we go backward, and we go forward, and we go backward, we just worked on forward and backward without the right, without the left. The balance is there because we didn't fall over, so there's some sort of balance involved here. Now we had the shifting of weight. So shifting of weight means straighten and straightening. You can think of it as folding and folding. So that's how you move your legs. That transition in the legs in the beginning is a physical action because we're bending the front, we're bending the back, and it becomes just a isolated motion. But as you build a relationship in the legs, when one leg straightens, the other one bends, but actually the terms probably should be more like folding. So when you fold something, it kind of yields, right? You took a piece of paper and you press the two sides together, it kind of yields toward the fold. It kind of collapses. So when we go forward, the two parts of your legs kind of are coming together. And it comes together to the point of alignment where the toe lines up with the knee. And the rear leg becomes straight. And the heel is actually down as some of the pressure goes to the toe. That's a whole nother idea because it's the toe-heel relationship. The shifting of the weight becomes much more important. Why does the shifting of weight become important? Not on a physical level, but on a relationship level. Because if you're moving your upper body right and left side, move to the left, move to the right, move to the left, move to the right. That becomes a relationship of active and passive. So the leg relationship and the hand relationship has to become compatible. So then you have to build that relationship. So if the legs are doing a physical thing and upper body's doing a relationship, they're not going to meet anywhere because your body has not tied it together. So how the torso ties together because your torso actually moves right to left as well. So I call that the oblique body image, right? The oblique body image is when our body turns 45 degrees this way and 45 degrees this way. So it's not turning your feet. It's not just turning in the hip. It's a combination of all of that. So if you took your torso from just where the hips are to the neck, then that area moves as a unit, but yet your lower lumbar area still has its own ability to twist. So the spine actually gets very involved with your relationships up and lower body. So why it's difficult to do that in the beginning is because movements are motor skills. If your torso has not moved in this way, then it's not programmed to move. We learn to move our hands and maybe refine it to the level of fingers because it's kind of what we do. But if the torso never twists, and after 60 years of never twisting, do you think as soon as I say twist your lower lumbar area, that it's going to happen? There's no control. It's dysfunctional because it's not wired to do that. And if it's not wired, it's not. It's actually wired but not programmed. You know what I mean? So you can get a computer and you don't put the right information. If you don't have the right software, it doesn't work, right? It doesn't do things like, why are there all these different apps and applications? Because they kind of changes what it's supposed to do. So if our body is working along the same way, if your torso is dysfunctional, it's because it doesn't know that it could do this. So the capacity of your body's movement is really limited to your understanding and what you've actually built into your system. So that's why I call it age-related degeneration. If you had it at one time, it'll still go away if you don't use it. If you never had it, you have to work toward it to build it. So, it's just a process. So when we're here, now we did this right and left. Okay, so I'm going to take it to another level of understanding that because we move right and move left, now you're looking at my hands. This is moving to the left. This is moving to the right. But then when I move to the right this way and I move to the left this way, what happened to this hand? It moved from here and then it started going to the left. When I moved to the left, this hand started moving to the right. So that's the relationship. We don't do anything beyond this, right? That's about all we can do. This way and this way. That's about all we can do. But yet we can fold and unfold all our joints and create these amazing postures. Well, I think they're pretty amazing. You might not. But anyways, you can replicate these positions through muscle memory and timing. So to give you a simple example, right? We do this, cloud hands. We turn to the corner, we change. We turn to the corner and change. And we come through the middle, and I say follow your center line, which is something that eventually your body will actually be able to track because it becomes innate, it becomes your system. Now let's watch this for a second, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's palm strike face, right? That's palm strike face. You get that later on in the form after the third set of cloud hands, and it happens a little bit in, maybe for the kicks. But you say, wow, palm strikes face. How do you get through that? And then you go like this. Now go back to the cloud hands, and I go like this. If I turn the full spectrum all the way to here, and I turn all the way to here, isn't that essentially the same movement that we did in cloud hands? But we changed the direction of movement. So a palm strikes face is this. If I didn't turn as much, it looks like cloud hands. So what you get as a look is not what you always see, right? So what you have to do is understand the concept and the principle of what the hands are doing. All you're doing is this. So all I'm doing is this.